disclosure, this video is probably going to end up as a two-parter, but don't click away yet because I think the first part is also really interesting. This video is all about what happens when someone sits in the wrong chair within the magical man cave. So, for example, this is my armchair, and if someone sits in it, this is currently what happens.
Get out of my seat!
So Ferdinand, my talking skull, will respond if someone sits in my chair. Okay, I've sort of covered that off in the past and I've explained what happens, but I haven't explained how. So if you're interested in smart home stuff and automations and just generally cool stuff and making cool stuff, click that like button, subscribe and ding that bell because it's all coming up right now. Okay, so the very first thing is I have a pressure pad in that chair. You probably figured that one out already. There are other ways of doing it, like impedance sensors and bend sensors and stuff like that. I haven't bothered with any of that. Literally all I've done is gone onto Amazon and bought a pressure pad. Now that pressure pad comes with 4 leads coming out of it. You will need to play about with it a little bit in order to work out which leads they are. If you've got a multimeter, by all means connect those wires up to the multimeter, press it and just see whether or not it makes a connection. But ultimately this is just like a switch really. So you sit on that pressure pad and it creates that switch or that connection between these parts to say this is now a circuit. Cool, but you're going to need something to be able to tell Ferdinand, my talking skull, that this is a smart device. Turning just a pressure pad into a smart device and doing it using batteries, that's tricky because I don't want any wires here. I want this to be completely invisible. The way that I've come up with it, in fact I've kind of stolen the idea a little bit because someone else came up with this idea, is that if you get a certain type of water sensor where the terminals are exposed, you can connect to those terminals. Now just to be completely clear on what that means, a water sensor is a device that when it gets wet, the water itself acts as the connecting point, almost like a wire between the 2 terminals. It acts as a bridge, completes the circuit and turns the thing on. So by having this smart water sensor here, what I've got is a Zigbee device that can attach via Home Assistant and say, hey, this is a water sensor. It doesn't matter that it knows that it's a water sensor, it's just it treats it like a sensor of something. So when I sit on this chair, it connects those 2 terminals and it tells the Home Assistant server the water sensor has gone wet. Now I know that sounds a bit strange because the armchair has essentially gone wet or gone moist. When that happens, that's when Ferdinand starts reacting. So you kind of have to say, okay, when it's moist and when it's dry. There are 2 states. One is when the pressure is on and one is when the pressure is off. Once you've done that, you can start to do pretty much anything you want. So once you've figured out what wires are connected to what, you simply use crocodile clips. And it couldn't be easier because you don't have to solder anything. And in fact, the first time I did try to solder it, I kind of wrecked my sensor and I just had to throw it away. I think it was a temperature thing. I tried to resolve it, I couldn't. I tried to glue it, I couldn't. I tried to even use metallic epoxy to try to solve the problem. And when that didn't work, I just put it into ChatGPT and said, what can I do to connect these things together? And it just went, duh, crocodile clips. And I just thought, oh yeah, so that's what I've done. So yeah, it looks really hokey. It's not the strongest, but as long as the armchair doesn't move too much, it's generally okay. So I use the crocodile clips to connect not only the wires, but also the terminals together. And as soon as you then sit down, the pressure pad makes the sensor think that there is moisture there. It then sends the signal up to the Home Assistant server. The Home Assistant server then sends an MQTT message over to Ferdinand. And if you want to find out any more about how Ferdinand works, click on that video up here. Now the next stage is going to be linking up a fog machine underneath the chair. If you want to see that, please like and subscribe because it's coming up fairly soon. I've put the fog machine on order and it's not just a fog machine. That's all I'm going to say for now. So when someone sits down, there will be a farting curse issued by Ferdinand, and then shortly after that there will be fog, there will be green lights. I'm hoping I can even get a fart sound effect. I think that'd be really funny. So yeah, I know that's a really quick video. If you did like it though, please click that like button, subscribe and ding that bell. I'm going to be back next time with some more magical awesomeness, but until next time, as always,
Stay magical!